Hello and welcome to the third session of I'm Divorced Now What? Today we're going to talk about the art of being single. What would you say is the hardest part after a divorce? A lot of women say that the being alone sucks. And that's true, or is it? There, as with anything else in life, there is a yin and a yang to it. And you have to look at both sides. And this session, I'm going to talk about the good and the bad about being single and hopefully give you a different perspective on how you can look at being single and why you should stay single for a little bit. So, a little backstory on myself. I was married and for 24 years. And then when we separated, I met this man who was also going through a divorce. He was separated from his wife. And we got to talking and we would just talk for hours on end. And it got to the point where we got into a relationship. And when we got into the relationship, neither one of us had healed. And so our relationship ended up disintegrating. It ended up ending. And I believe wholeheartedly, knowing now what I knew then, knowing now that if I had healed and he had healed, it might be a completely different story. So the first thing about the good thing to do, the good thing about being single is that it allows you the time to heal. And taking that time to heal it's vital, not only to you, but also to your future relationships. Because when you heal yourself, you are stepping into the relationship as a completely different you, as a you that is understands who you are, that is complete, that knows what your boundaries are. These are all things that you can work on while you are healing. Ways to heal are different for each person. So some people may want to just read books, maybe listen to podcasts, and that works for them. While others need somebody to talk to and have them uh, get feedback on what their thoughts are and help guide them. And so they get either a coach or they go to therapy. As I said before in a previous session, I did both and I did them in tandem. And they both were beneficial for different reasons. While others just need to maybe sit with themselves, sit in the quiet, journal, maybe sit and watch TV and just cry and let it all out. Whatever it is that you need to heal, allow yourself that time to heal because you are worth it. By taking this time to allow ourselves to heal, it allows us to grow. It allows us to grow as a human in life and in all different areas of our basically of our life. It can affect us as a parent. It can affect us, not infect us, affect us as an employee. It can affect us with the relationship with our friends and our family. And these can be good or bad, depending on how things go. But if you heal yourself, you may end up losing some people, but I promise you, you're going to gain so much more. You're going to gain that respect for yourself. You're going to gain that the right people into your life. You will get them into your life, which is it really is a beautiful, beautiful thing. This is actually what's happened to me is I've lost friends that I thought they were my friend for 20 years and did me wrong, and I let him go. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I set my boundaries. This is not okay. I'm not doing this. And I tell you what, I let go of that friend and I got at least a dozen new friends that are more on my level of thinking and who will not disrespect me and will not treat me the way this person treated me. When we take the time to heal, we learn who we are. We we become the person that we hang around. We become when we hang around different people, and includes our spouse, we become a certain person and we stay at that level. So like if you wanted to better yourself when it comes to cooking and you are with people who only eat out, you're not going to get better at cooking. Whereas if you hang out with other people who cook and want to learn more about cooking, they're going to help level you up with your cooking. And this is any aspect in life. So if you wanted to improve your life in any area, look who you're hanging around because they're going to help level you up. And they can also help you with your healing. Uh you when you're in a relationship, you may not always be who you want to be. You may have had to hide things that you wanted to do or um, express things the way you wanted to express them or have that time to do what you wanted to do. By taking this time of being single, you can do this. You can explore different areas that you may not have been able to explore before or try new things that you weren't able to try before. You'll be able to look at things differently. When you're with somebody, their beliefs will come up and you might talk about it, go, yeah, okay, that's how I see things. But and I agree with you, but then something may come up where after you get divorced, you start looking at things differently. And this can be in so many different areas. It could be like the kind of car you drive. It could be politics. It could be the kind of food that you want to eat. It could be um, the places you want to vacation. Maybe they only wanted to go places that were warm, and you wanted to go learn how to ski, and it needs to be cold, and they're like, no. So you can explore and try new things in a different way. You can take your life in a completely different direction. When you are single, you can explore different careers. You can explore living in a different city, different state, different country. You can explore your living arrangement. Maybe you've always lived in a big house and you're like, you know what? I am tired of taking care of this house. I'm tired of taking care of the lawn. I am going to get into, I'm going to get an RV and I'm going to go travel around the US or wherever you're at. I'm going to go travel around and explore different areas that I wasn't able to do before because I was kind of tied down. And you still may be tied down. Maybe you can get a job that's remote or even go uh, different places and get a job for a little bit and stay there and then save up some money and then go somewhere else and try another city and find some place that really calls to you. You can also try different foods or different restaurants. A lot of times when you're in a relationship, you go to the same restaurants over and over and over again. Some relationships they might try different things, but Others might go, "Oh, I never wanted to try. I don't like Thai. I don't want to try Thai food." But you're like, "Oh, I would love to try Thai food." And this is your opportunity to either try it or maybe make it for yourself. The other thing that you can do when it comes to looking at your life is, if you went to church together and you're like, I do not want to go to the same church that we went to. I want to go to a different one. And you choose a different church to try out, or you try a different, uh, even try going to a temple, or maybe you say, I need to just step back. And I actually have a friend who did that. She's like, I have not given up on God, but I stepped back from the church because I wanted to experience the spiritual side and understand that more. And so she did that for herself. Whatever works for you, go ahead and explore what you would like to explore. Uh, and maybe you're just, I need to step away from church altogether and all kinds of spirituality, anything. I just need to step away. What is calling to you in your heart? Because this is what's about you and what is inside of you and what you are needing. Maybe it's time for you to try some new activities. Maybe you always wanted to be on a bowling league or play volleyball or tennis. Now would be a good time to do that. Or maybe you wanted to try volunteering with Habitat for Humanity and learning about how to build houses. You are open to being able to try these new experiences, or even axe throwing. Never been axe throwing and you want to try something new, or uh, go to a drag show. You've never been to a drag show, you want to try something new. Now would be the time to go ahead and explore these things and say, I've been to a couple of drag shows, or I went to a rave, and it's just not for me. You can discover new hobbies. So this can be something as simple as learning how to crochet or knit, um, doing puzzles, or it could be something completely different and you take up golf, or you start going to a book club. You start reading books and joining a book club, or create a book club all on your own. So these are all uh, different ideas, and you can come up with ones. As soon as I say new hobbies, what comes to your mind? What's the first thing? What's a new hobby that you can try and do? Things you may not realize that are a benefit when you are single. This is kind of fun. You can watch whatever you'd like to watch. You don't have to check with somebody and say, well, do you want to watch this tonight? Or, you know, you can explore new shows. You can watch the same movie you've already watched 100 times and watch it another 100 times and not have anybody there to tell you you can't watch it. Or, let's watch something else. Or, aren't you tired of this yet? You can eat whatever you want and wherever you want. So, unless you have kids, that's a little bit different. But say you want to eat, you know, pizza in bed, you can do so, or, eat ice cream in front of the TV. Whatever it is that you want to do and eat, you can do so. Maybe you want to take your food out on the porch and eat there, and just have that quiet time. You get to make that choice. You can talk to anybody whenever you'd like. You don't have that person that, oh, I got to get going because I got to figure out dinner with so and so because, they're coming home soon. You get to have those conversations. For me, this is huge because I have friends that I talk to and they'll call up at the spur of the moment. I have other friends that I talk to every Sunday, and we're on Zoom calls for a couple hours. So to have that time with them, if I was to have somebody there, that kind of takes away from my friend time also. So I'm able to have that time. I don't have to say, you know what? And maybe they're, it, maybe they'll be wanting to watch sports or something. I don't know. And they can go do that while I'm talking to my friends. But right now I can talk to them, and I will talk to my friends sometimes 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, depending on what's going on. You can buy whatever you would like and wherever you like. I say this after I just had we just talked, yeah, the last session was about finances. So be cautious, make sure you budgeted for it. But say you like to buy shoes. I'm not a shoe person, but say you like to buy shoes and you go out and you buy another pair of shoes and they're like, you don't have anybody going, why did you buy another pair of shoes? Didn't you just buy a pair last week? You can buy those shoes that you want, or whatever it is. You can go out and get uh, mine was probably the sofa. I always wanted a sofa that had recliners, and I have my sofa that has recliners in it now. So you can purchase what you would like. This one was really difficult for me to do, but you can sleep in the middle of the bed. I would always sleep on the edge, and my then husband he was in the military, and he would go away, and I still slept on the side of the bed, and, I didn't ever veer anywhere, and let me tell you what, now I sleep on either side of the bed, and I wake up some mornings, and I am diagonal. You can sleep in the middle of the bed if you'd like, but you can sleep wherever you would like on that bed, and it's all yours. You can put the sheets on that you like. Don't have that in my notes, but you have there's certain people like certain kinds of sheets. I'm kind of a sheet snob, and so I like to have really nice sheets. So you can have that. You can have it as warm or cold as you want in your room. These are all things that are just coming to me, that I didn't even think about before. Um, you can stay up as late as you want, or you can sleep in as late as you want. You may not, I don't know if you're a light sleeper and they wake up and you're like, oh my goodness, and that you can't go back to sleep, or they didn't want to go to bed early and you're like, oh, I want to stay up, or I want to go to bed early and they want to stay up. You don't have anybody else to kind of have that conflict with. Next thing you can do is change things up. So if you're in the same house as you were when you guys with your partner, you can rearrange the furniture from how it was and shift things. Even just changing, if you have a lamp, just changing the position of where it's at, or changing the sofa around, changing where the TV is at, changing your kitchen around, just changing things around. That way, you can paint. If you're in an apartment or renting a place, you're gonna have to paint it back. But let me tell you, if you paint it and just go something bold, something crazy, just something that it speaks to you, something that it lightens you up, it just changes the dynamic of your house. You can reinvent yourself during this time too, which is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I say this because that's what I've done. I am on this amazing path right now of reinventing who I am, and I'm not who I used to be. Anybody who used to know me would be like, wow. I'm now an author. I have a journal. I'm now doing my course. I I get to do this for a living now. And it's a beautiful thing to reinvent yourself and say, you know what? That person is gone. And I've set boundaries so that I don't go back to that. My boundaries are this. So even when it comes to who you decide to start dating, you can reinvent the people that you bring into your life. You can say no more of this. I'm going to get somebody different. I am going to have a different outlook on my life. I'm going to take control. I'm going to take the reins of my life, and I'm not going to put up with this, and this anymore. And that can be even from yourself. You can say, I'm not putting up with this for myself anymore. You can reinvent who you are from all different aspects, depending on what it is that you are not putting up with anymore. It can be a complete overhaul, or it can just be something just so minor. And a lot of it just can be the things that I've already mentioned. You can also change things up by getting yourself a new wardrobe. For me, I got rid of almost everything that tied back to my ex-husband, my ex-boyfriend. If it reminded me of them, it was gone and I got something new. And now it's mine. It's like I can go out and say, you know what? I want to get a blazer. I have not worn a blazer in, if ever, I've never worn a blazer. And you go, I want to go get a blazer. And I want to start wearing and dressing up a little bit differently. Find somebody who is what are they called? Like a fashion, they basically will dress you up and help get you those clothes. And a stylist, a clothing stylist. Get somebody who will help you with the shape that you are, find the right clothes for you, and get it so it fits you very well. This can also help tie into your reinventing yourself. The other thing you can do is buy plants and bring them into your life. When you buy plants, it brings life into your house. You can even buy flowers for yourself. You don't need a man to buy those flowers for you. You can buy the flowers for yourself. I would do this sometimes because, especially when I was married, I would get tired of waiting for somebody else to buy me flowers. I am worthy of those flowers and I can go buy them myself. Biggest thing is, if you have a cat, be careful what you buy, because if the cat likes to eat them, it could do some harm. So be careful with the plants. Now we're going to talk about the bad. Okay, when it comes to the bad, it can get lonely. That is so very true, especially in the nighttime. You don't have that person to talk to. You don't have the intimacy. You don't have the sex. You don't have somebody to go out and do activities with. You don't have that person to help with the chores or help make decisions, or even that extra paycheck, assuming that they brought in a paycheck, because you can never assume that. I've heard that one too. Maybe it's better that they're gone. Who knows? Maybe your life is easier. But take that time. You can but having those sorry, I lost track of what I was saying. Uh that those are bad things that can happen when it comes to not having somebody. You can also, over time though, it does get better. You get acclimated. It's like going into a job. You go into a brand new job, you don't know how things are going to work. And after a while, it's old hat. And you're like, this is no big deal. It is the same when it comes to being single. You get acclimated. And there's usually three different aspects of single ladies. One's, I absolutely love being single now. I don't have no desire to have another partner. Then there's the, I can be single, but I really would like to have somebody in my life. And then there's the one that is like, I gotta have somebody in my life now. And there's nothing wrong with any of those. just be careful not to jump the gun with getting into a relationship, and just taking somebody uh, as a partner and not having those boundaries and know what you will and will not tolerate. Um, it will take time to get accustomed to being single. It's not something that happens right away. Uh, it is a new adventure, and there will be a learning path for probably a good year of just learning how to handle being by yourself. Learn to love yourself. Take that time to love yourself and discover yourself. Talk to yourself as if you were a child. I said this in another session. When you take the time to talk to yourself and make sure that the words that you are saying to yourself are kind, you start to love yourself more. An activity you can do is look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you to yourself. You can also do the Ho'oponopono, which I've said in another session. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Both of these, make sure you're saying it from the heart, but say it and just say, I love you. And it may take you a while. It's really, really hard to look at yourself and say it because you probably have never said it to yourself before. I know I never have. And here I am, I'm doing this on camera and I'm looking at myself in the eyes and I'm saying it. And I'm hoping you can feel the love that I have and that I'm saying not only to myself, but I'm sending it to you also and saying it to you. Okay, dating. This could be the ugly. The dating. Dating, be cautious dating right after divorce. I already told you my story, especially if you're not healed. The first one can hurt more than the divorce itself, or it could be the love of your life. I have known a couple of people that have gotten a divorce. I'm trying to remember the case for sure. I think I don't know if they were fully divorced, but they were getting divorced, and they met a man, and they've been happily married for I don't even know how many years. But I'm not saying that Mr. Right and Mr. Perfect doesn't come along. Not that there is a perfect, but um, Mr. Right doesn't come along right after you get separated or divorced. But just be careful. Um, my personal opinion is wait until after you are divorced. I have had friends who have divorced and then got remarried to the same person. Um, so it's just, and I know somebody who they were separated and got back together, but also had a relationship in there and had a child with somebody else, and got back together and they ended up divorcing anyhow. There's different little scenarios that could happen. So that's why I'm saying when we're alone, especially at the beginning, we want and crave that somebody to love us, because at that moment of going through the divorce, you do not feel loved at all. And you just cling. You're like, I just beg for somebody to come and hold me and to love me. And you go looking for it. It's not always the best thing for you though. It could cause more heartache and harm in the long run, not necessarily just with the relationship, but just even with yourself. So it, but each person is different. Some people are okay with doing that, and that's fine. Find out what feels right for you. But just because you're hurt, don't go and do something that you wouldn't normally do if you were not hurt. So just be careful of that. And that's a really tough one because when we're hurting, we can't always feel what's going on inside. Okay, I told myself personally when I was getting divorced, I was like, I'm gonna be single for a couple of years. And then I met this guy, right? I'm like, I'm gonna be single for a couple of years. And now I've been single for 3 years. And I I have enjoyed the 3 years, but I would recommend at least a year. Give yourself at least a year to help heal and learn about yourself and who you are and all of the things I've already mentioned. And like I said before, when you're doing this, you are bringing when you heal yourself, you're bringing that better version of you, that healed version, the authentic version to a relationship. You'll know what you will and will not put up with and expect. And you'll be ready when that right person walks into your life. So let's talk about the right person and when is it time to start dating? There's different ways you can meet men. There's the dating apps. You can ask friends and family. You can volunteer with an organization and maybe meet somebody that way. That's a double whammy, double, good thing because you're doing something for yourself and then you're also I wouldn't say you're going to meet somebody, but it gives you that opens that door. Then there's always the hookup or the friends with benefits, you know? Like I said, it all depends on each person. There are some women who they get to a certain age and they're like, I'm just going to go out and have fun. While others are like, nope, I am going to wait for the one. There is no right or wrong answer. It is what you want and what your needs are and what feels good to you. When it comes to the dating apps, I'm just going to put this out there. I'm sure you've all heard this. Just be careful because there are creeps out there. There are people who will take advantage of you and weed through the creeps. I will say, I like to believe I wouldn't have to say this. Do not meet them at their house. Let somebody know if you are going out with them, with a person that you've not met before, and where you're going. Let them know when you're leaving, when you're supposed to be home, where you're going, and just be aware of your surroundings at all times. This is the mother in me also, because I feel like it's what I would be telling my daughters too. But just I want you to be very protective of yourself because not everybody is got the your best interest at heart. So here are some, this is the fun part. This is kind of exciting. Unusual ways to attract a partner. So I want you to use your imagination and you can close your eyes for this. You can sit with this. And this is not something that's going to be a one and done kind of activity. But I want you to imagine your partner. What do they look like? What would you do together? What would your relationship be like? What would you feel? So I want you to write a list of everything you desire in a partner. So age range, what age range are they in? How tall are they? Are they taller than you? Are they, same height? If that even matters to you. Maybe it doesn't matter. Um, what do they eat? Are they, do they love to have meat, or are they vegetarian or vegan? Like myself, I'm vegetarian. I prefer to have somebody who's vegetarian or vegan. So put that down. What kind, maybe they do not like sushi. That's what's coming to mind. Maybe they're, somebody who does not like sushi, but eats anything else. Somebody who's adventurous when it comes to food. Put something like that. How much do they make? This can be a rough range of how much, you know, between 80 and 100,000 or something, whatever it is. Somebody who goes to the gym. Do they go to the gym or they not? Are they, maybe they are a gamer. If you're a gamer and you're like, oh, I want another person who's really big into games. Maybe they love sports. Maybe there's a certain, you know, for me, I like baseball and I like hockey. I'd love to have somebody that wants to watch games with me, but it's not necessary. We don't have to watch every single game. How do they treat you and others? Write all of these things down. These are all details. How do they treat you and others? Do they like animals or not? Uh, are, um, are they a smoker? Are they a non-smoker? You know, uh, do they drink? Are they non-drinker? What is it you are wanting them to be? And this is a continuous list. This list will keep going. Do they go to church? I just realized I didn't add that to my list. Are they church going? Are they spiritual? Are they, do they love going on hikes and going being in nature? Write all of these details down, things that come to you. My list is continuous, and then I go in and I will edit things. So write down what it is that you are feeling that would align with you. Next, write down what would you do together? Would you cook? They help you make bed? Would they help with the laundry and help clean up around the house? Where would you go on vacation? Would you guys sit outside at the end of the day and enjoy a glass of wine or a cup of tea? How would you spend your weekends? Write out the details about these and what you would like. When you do this, start becoming this person that you are wanting in your life. So if you want somebody who's goes to the gym, you should go to the gym also. Who knows, you might meet him there. So go to the gym and become that person. I'm trying to think, if you want them to, if you want to cook together, start making food for yourself. Especially if you eat out all the time. Uh, if they treat others that way, looking at my list real quick. But yeah, become that person. Obviously, if you're female and you're looking for a male, you're not going to become a male, but you start doing some of these things that, if you want them to like going out hiking, start going out hiking. There's groups that you can join to go hiking with. So here's another kind of fun activity you can do to help call in that other person, is you clear out space for them. So if your closet is full of your clothes and there's no space for somebody else's clothes to be in there, you need to make some room for their clothes. If you have a dresser, clean out some of those drawers for that other person that you are trying to get into your life. Have a nightstand set up for them. Your passenger seat in your car, if you always have stuff on your passenger seat or even on your bed when you're sleeping. I've heard women do this. I personally don't, but they will have stuff on the other side of the bed, the other half of the bed. I guess I did do that right after I got divorced, or I was separated. I would have stuff on that other side of the bed, but make sure that side is all cleared off. This is where you would probably want to start sleeping on one side of the bed and not in the middle. So it opens up that idea of having somebody else. If you want to have that cup of tea with them in the evening or a glass of wine, you don't have to necessarily pour the glass of wine for them, but have 2 glasses of wine out there. One is yours and one is empty and it's theirs. Um, or the have a mug out there with it's empty, but it's sitting there as if uh, they're there, and have a plate out for them. And like I said, you don't have to have food on there, but just open that window just to let it be known. You know what? I have somebody here with me. Put an extra toothbrush out for them and have it ready for them as if they're with you. This is just fun little activities. I will have a sheet with a place for you to write some of these ideas down with all of the things that I've recommended and suggested. I hope this has helped. I'm going to leave you with this. Take time to rediscover you because you are worth it. I promise you. When you step into that authentic you will be amazed. I hope you guys had a great session with this one. I know I did. I look forward to seeing you in session 4. Take care.